They have ruined Star Wars and I will not stand for it. Hello everyone, thank you for presenting yourself here back at court. We missed you. My name is Devana, otherwise known as The Sovereign. Feel free to follow me on all my social media links. They will be linked in the description box below. First of all, you guys have to understand that The Sovereign is a nerd. Hence my Harry Potter onesie. Those of you who follow me on Instagram, you guys know how I get down. Slytherin all day. But they didn't have a Slytherin tie, so don't hate on me in the comments. But yes, Star Wars is one of those nerdy institutions that it's accepted by the populace. It is known throughout the world. Star Wars is kind of sacred. And for Christmas, you know, I'm down in Los Angeles. I live alone. I live by myself down here. My family is like 400 miles away. So I didn't really have anything else to do on Christmas other than sleep and go see Star Wars, which I did. You guys, I went to see Star Wars on Christmas, and I wasn't super expecting like this mind-blowing experience, but spoilers ahead, by the way. If you haven't seen Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker and you don't want me to spoil it for you, leave the video, come back after you've seen the movie. I don't want anybody getting mad at me about spoilers because I know I would be mad. So spoilers ahead, okay? Spoilers. I just hit my piano. I'm standing up doing this video because I am really antsy about this topic. Like let's just get into it and you'll see why my nerdy self is upset. There are a lot of people who didn't seem to like Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. There are a lot of people that just didn't seem to like the newer Star Wars trilogy that just came out, and I kind of understand why, but this last movie really irked my nerves, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. And I have some notes because I didn't want to forget anything, because there are some things in this movie that it's just like, what were you thinking? I am not blaming the actors, by the way. I think the actors were wonderful. They did their job. I don't blame the actors whatsoever. It's the writers. Whoever made this story, whoever did this, made the script, the storyline, it's your fault, okay? Star Wars was a cherished institution, and now I feel like they used Star Wars just for the nostalgia and the money that they could get out of it. So let's just get into the things that I felt like really just killed this movie and the Star Wars saga in general. The first thing that really irked me about Star Wars in general was that they turned Luke into a grumpy old man. Luke was literally the last hope. He was the last shining hope for the first series of Star Wars movies. Like, that was his role. He was the hopeful one. He was the optimistic one. He was the one that would strive to defeat evil no matter what obstacles came along. So to turn that person to a grumpy old man is kind of not his character. Now, I was prepared to let that slide. I'm like, okay, maybe they're just trying to show like anybody can have a breakdown in their psyche. Anybody can become disheartened, and they're just gonna show Luke rise from the ashes and become this hopeful Jedi again. Not really. They didn't really do that. Luke was a grumpy old man, and then he didn't even want to help Rey, and then for whatever reason, they didn't really explain why Luke seemingly changed his mind. They didn't explain that. And then Luke had some sort of superpower to become some sort of apparition planets away, a superpower we've never even seen done by any other Jedi, not even Yoda. Let's not explain that. And then Luke turns into a Force ghost with no explanation. And I'm just seeing throughout this entire franchise, there's just no explanations for a lot of things. Who the hell is General Snoke? Do you guys realize we got no explanation for who that hideous creature looking thing was that was bossing around Kylo Ren? Who was he? In the very last movie, all we got was that Darth Sidious said, "I made him." That's the only shit we got. And you, as a writer, you guys thought, do you guys think that the public is just that stupid that we just accept these things? There needs to be an explanation other than because I said so. What the? Let's keep moving on with that. There is no explanation for the return of the Sith. We just been going through movies. Last movie, hey, guess what? Darth Sidious is back. What? Didn't Luke like throw him down some sort of nuclear reactor? Like, he's just back? How? When? Who helped him come back? Who's working with him? We got no explanation other than the Sith is back. He is hooked up to some gigantic machine and he looks like a zombie. No explanation. Where did he come from? How did they get his body? Gotta remember that the Death Star exploded after Luke left it. Which means Darth Sidious's body would have been, I don't know, vaporized. Dude's just back with no explanation whatsoever. He's just back. They were just like, oh, there has been a Darth Sith voice heard throughout the galaxy and the Sith is back. Y'all really thought that was appropriate, that we were just gonna accept that? I don't accept that. That was a huge writing error, like just incompetence of the highest regard. There was no buildup to the training of Leia being a Jedi. As a woman, watching the original Star Wars, I was just like, okay, why isn't Leia a Jedi? Shouldn't she have the Jedi powers? And it was really nice that they were incorporating that in the new Star Wars series. But we got no build up to that. We had no inkling that she actually had Jedi training. It was kind of weird where she got ejected into space and then had like Jedi superpowers, and we're just like, y'all not gonna explain this? Like, you just given Leia superpowers with no build up, no explanation, no nothing. You cannot do that in a storyline unless there's a purpose, and there really wasn't a purpose. It was just like, hey, Leia has superpowers. Bam. Bam. And then Leia dies. Now I understand that the actual actress herself did pass away, which I was like, when that happened, I was like, oh my God, no. I can't stand it when that happens. Like, beloved actress, like beloved. In the movie, before Leia, passed on, she used the last bit of her strength, kind of, was supposed to be like contacting Kylo Ren or reaching out to her son, something like that, in order to save him. It was like her last ditch attempt to save him from the dark side. And Rey felt it and Kylo Ren felt it. And I thought, okay, if the purpose of her death is her using her last bit of strength to save her son, I love it. I love it. And then you guys killed Kylo Ren. What was the point in all that if you kill y'all, and y'all killed Kylo Ren at the end? And understand that I didn't even like Kylo Ren as a character. The actor is phenomenal. Kylo Ren never struck me as a villain. I'm thinking like, this is some like whiny, petulant teenager. This boy needs a hug. I never saw him as a villain. I'm thinking Kylo Ren just needs some love, which I was kind of right. Boy just needed some love. Like, he never struck me as a true villain. He always came off as whiny, pouty. Like, I'm not, you're not a villain, Kylo Ren. I never saw him as a villain. But y'all killed him off. And even though he wasn't my favorite character, killing him off was the dumbest thing this franchise could have done. The dumbest thing. Number one, what was the point of Leia sacrificing herself to save her son from the dark side? But you just killed him off anyways. So thanks for nothing. That, I mean, you guys just kind of like used Leia's death for nothing because he ended up dying anyways. The thing that really made me mad about this is just like, you guys clearly, the Star Wars production people clearly didn't have the best story writers on their team, because I could have written a better story in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Kylo Ren was basically walking in the same footsteps as Anakin Skywalker, his grandfather, whose mask, for whatever reason, they had in the Death Star, which would have been a perfect opportunity, by the way, for them to incorporate Darth Vader or have a some sort of Anakin Skywalker Force ghost communicating with Kylo Ren, which I thought was gonna happen, but somehow didn't happen. So what was the point of incorporating the Darth Vader mask, and other than just nostalgia? So you guys are using nostalgia, blatant using nostalgia, just manipulating the public. But let's get back to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, this story was so easy to write. Like, how did you guys not see this? Kylo Ren was walking in the same path as Anakin Skywalker, kind of. Anakin Skywalker was corrupted by love, and that's how Darth Sidious ended up getting him. He was trying to save Padme, ended up killing Padme. Kylo Ren was in this sort of love situation feelings with Rey. The love from his mother giving her life and Rey saving him after she inflicted a fatal wound on him changed him. He decided it was better to be to be good. He's like, you know what? It's not worth it being dark. I want Rey. I want the good side. I want that. Fantastic. This story writes itself. How did they miss this? Love destroyed Anakin Skywalker. Love is what drove him to the dark side. But love is what was driving Kylo Ren to the good side. He was taking the path that his grandfather was not strong enough to take. And you guys could have easily had Kylo Ren fulfilling something that Anakin wasn't strong enough to do, which was becoming good, following the dark path. You had a beautiful redemption story, being that Kylo Ren is going from being like this dark lord to being a good guy. You could have made an entire new series just off of Kylo Ren rediscovering the good side, rebuilding the Jedi, becoming the good that Anakin never could be. It was right in front of you. The love that destroyed Anakin could have saved Kylo Ren, should have saved Kylo Ren. But what happens? What happens? And it makes me mad because I'm a sucker for love. Like, I'm one of those people that always root for love. I'm just like, yes, love, let everybody have love and everything. Kylo Ren actually did deserve it, but even though their love story wasn't a real love story, like there was no build up to their love, it was kind of random and they had this beautiful kiss and I was just like, you know what? It's love, I'm rolling with it. They killed off Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, dead, right after the kiss. Done, donezo. And I'm just like, for what reason though? For what reason? What was the purpose that his death was supposed to fulfill? You had a love story brewing. You had a ridiculous redemption story that has never been done in Star Wars ever. We've never seen this dark lord or dark Sith come back to the good side and like do good stuff. It would have been a wonderful story. And then having the dynamic of people being able maybe to accept Kylo Ren now that he's good. Like that's a story that I wanted to see. Y'all killed him off. What? Killed him off. Kylo Ren is like, that made me so mad. It would have been such a wonderful story to see love save Kylo Ren, him become good, rebuild the Jedi, go through the trials and tribulations of reintegrating himself into society. Yeah, like the story writes itself. It would, and it all harkens back to the road and the path that Anakin Skywalker take with, you know, love destroying him. Like it would have worked, but you guys killed Kylo Ren. Why? You don't know. You just wanted a moment, right? You just wanted a moment, right? Not to mention, did we really ever get like a genuine answer for why Rey and Kylo Ren have this strong connection? Not really. Not really. Like they had never really met each other, but they were already forming a connection, but they couldn't have been in love at the time. So what was the point? On top of the fact that you guys are just gonna fling into the storyline that Rey is a Palpatine. We didn't even know Senator Palpatine had kids. But y'all just throwing stuff into the storyline now because it's convenient. I could have written a better story in 5 minutes. That is irresponsible writing. Completely irresponsible. It's very obvious that they just threw in the fact that Rey was a Palpatine because they wanted some discovery, some great reveal, like when Luke was found out that Darth Vader was his father. It's very obvious what you guys did, and I don't like it. I don't like it. And before you guys are just like, well, what reason do you have to even dispute these great writers? Which I beg to differ. What would you say? 1 second. Yeah, all written by hand before y'all wanna get on my case about writing stories. Like I said, I could have wrote this story better in 5 minutes. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. I am coming for your jobs. The only reason it's not done yet is because I still have a full-time job that I have to do. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Otherwise, yeah, book would be on shelves because this story was ridiculous. Other things that really irked me, did we ever find out what the hell Finn was trying to tell Rey the whole movie? Like he's like, oh, I got Rey, I'm gonna tell you something. They're falling through the thing and he's like, I'm gonna tell you something, which I mean, we're all suspecting that Finn kind of loves Rey. I think that's what we're suspecting, but we never get a confirmation of it. But if we never get a confirmation of it, then what was the point of putting it in the movie in the first place? Like what was the point of all that? if there is no reveal or there's nothing to be drawn from him doing all this and this being brought up constantly, why would you put it in the movie? Like, are we just wasting footage time? Was the script not long enough? Final thing, just final thing, because this movie, like, y'all didn't even do your research. Like, I love writing, love making fantasy stories, but even I know to do basic research on, I don't know, how mountains work, or how weather works, or how plants or things evolve, or like, I do research even for a fantasy story. But it's like, for a story that takes place completely in space, y'all didn't research space very well. There is a scene in the Star Wars movie. It's a big battle scene. They're trying to take on all the destroyers and the big ships and everything that the Sith is about to send to destroy the world. They're like, we're gonna have, you know, our ground force attack the ship, which I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen that before. Let's do it. So they charge off. You guys, if you haven't seen the movie, let me just let you know, and you tell me if it makes sense. They're in space, in ships, and they land one of their cruisers on one of the gigantic battleships in space. And they offload the ground forces equipped with like horse-looking animals to ride across the destroyer and destroy the ship on foot. Now just contemplate what I'm saying to you and then find the problem. How are these people, these human beings, define that there is no gravity in space, so they are staying anchored to the ship? Well, okay, I'll give, maybe the ship has its own gravitational pull or some crap. I can give you that. All right. How are they surviving? Riding animals, no helmets, no breathing equipment, no nothing. Riding animals across the freaking destroyer in space. No helmets, no oxygen. They're legit fighting in space. No suits, no nothing. And did you think we weren't gonna notice that? I'm just like, you guys, did you think I wasn't? This is ridiculous. And you cannot tell me, well, they've evolved to breathe in space. Like, no. The entire history of Star Wars, whenever someone is in space, they are always wearing some sort of breathing apparatus. They are wearing some sort of suit, helmet. No, just no. So it's just like the writers were ignoring the laws of physics. And it's not, they weren't even just ignoring the laws of physics, because it's Star Wars and we kind of sometimes mess with the laws of physics, but they were ignoring set science rules based in Star Wars. You're not even ignoring just like normal human rules. You're ignoring the actual Star Wars rules. But they're wondering why their movie is not doing well. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker hasn't done well. Oh, and yeah, let's say that. After Ben Solo dies, whose last name is Solo. I mean, he is a Skywalker, but his last name is Solo. Rey decides to pull a Rose Dawson from Titanic and take Ben's, aka Kylo Ren's last name. No, it's not even his last name. He's a Solo. But he decided, I guess, Princess Leia's last name and become a Skywalker. Like the whole movie, Rey's been trying to figure out who she is. And at the last moment, she decides that she wants to be a Skywalker, not a Palpatine. What? Why? Y'all didn't even give them a love story. Like, I understand Rose Dawson was like, she kind of had a love story with Jack, and that was like her dude, even though it was kind of like a story about a girl on a ship and she had some really good sex. Like, basically, I don't know if you guys realize, but that's what Titanic is about. It's an old grandma telling people how she went on a cruise one time and got some really good sex. That's what Titanic is. But, okay. But then Rose took Jack's last name and became Rose Dawson. Rey didn't even take Ben's last name. She took like Leia's last name, became a Skywalker. What was the purpose? I don't know. When they didn't even incorporate a Skywalker, like they had every reason and way to incorporate a Darth Vader and every reason and way to incorporate an Anakin Skywalker as a Force ghost or whatever, which they should have, because if you're bringing back Palpatine shit, you might as well, and you didn't. Where was Anakin? Clearly Kylo Ren had some sort of connection. That's why he had the damn helmet and all that stuff. Like, you couldn't have explored that a little bit, because that would have been better. I'm so annoyed by this movie. I'm just so annoyed. Just ew. Let me know what you guys thought of the last and final movie, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. What did you think? When did you watch it? How do you feel about it? Are you a nerd like me? Do you even really care? Do you, like, I'm a nerd, so that's why I care. And I just felt like, even as someone who enjoys fiction and likes to write fiction, this was a bad story. And it hurts me to see that it was a story incorporated into a saga that's so loved. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for tolerating my rant, and I hope to see you all again. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you're not a member of my court, because like I said, we do a lot of stuff here. We live our fabulous lives. We live them like queens and kings and stuff in here. We be having fun. And I'll see you guys later. Okay? Have a happy holidays.